Oy, oy, oy. Oh. Shabbat Shalom!
Shall we get the Shabbat party started?
Yes, of course.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
It is good to be with all of you here in the sanctuary and with all of you who are joining us from home. We are excited to share another Shabbat with you. Hopefully everyone is comfortable and cool wherever they are. We are going to begin our Shabbat service with the singing of Shalom Aleichem as we welcome the angels of Shabbat on page 142 in Mishkan Tefillah.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yoy yoy yoy, Boachem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Oy oy oy, tzedchem l'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon.
We turn back in our prayer book to pages 120, 121. And anybody celebrating anything this week? Birthday? Anniversary?
Sold.
All right, come on up.
Get to light the candles. We'll celebrate for them in absentia. Yes. It's okay.
In the battle of rabbi versus microphone, microphone wins. So, English first, please.
Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Okay.
Or we can have Cantor do it if you want.
Oh, I could try. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'halagner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
And happy anniversary to your
You want to light
parents.
them real quick?
Oh, sure.
Nope.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We turn the page for Kiddush. Page 123. We join with Cantor.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav neratzavanu ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשי בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת נתראים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל עמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדיש השבת לחיים.
Amen. L'chaim. So now that we have officially welcomed Shabbat with candles and Kiddush, we take a moment to welcome each other. So it is wonderful to be with all of you. If you could just go around the room and introduce yourself so that we can all be together in community. Joan, would you like to start us off, please?
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, I'm Mark Sonnenfeld. Nice to be with you.
Shabbat Shalom. Merle, pleased to be here.
Shabbat Shalom, Leslie Breyer, also here.
And I'm Ken Breyer, and I'm glad to be here, especially.
I like the escalation.
Always glad to be here.
And
I'm Andy Heller, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
you're glad to be here.
I'm glad to be here, I am.
Cantor Farron Rudnick, Rabbi Jerry Newberg, and we're especially glad to have all of you here. Bring friends with you next time.
And Shabbat shalom to all our friends at home. We are especially glad that you're joining us virtually.
Yes. So we continue now on page 124. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We turn to page 140 for Mizmor Shir.
We're going backwards tonight in the prayer book.
It was very confusing.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. עלי אסור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, מחשבותיך מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון.
And we turn back a page again to page 138, 139 as we join together to welcome the Sabbath bride with the singing of Lecha Dodi.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. Shamur v'zachor v'dibur echad, ishmi'anu el ha'meichad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litzi la 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 lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. Likrat Shabbat lechuven elcha, vihi l'kora beracha, mirosh mikedem nesucha. Zevach achzeh b'machshavat tchila la 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 lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla.
Verse 5.
Mitoreri, mitoreri, viva ori, kumi uri, 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 shir taberi. Kevod Adonai alayich, negla la 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 lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. Last verse. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'alat. Kam b'simcha u'v'tzolat. Tvach emunim ad segulat. Boi chala, God bless you.
Thank you.
Boi chala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. La 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 lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, v'nei v'nei Shabbat nekavla.
Page 146, we rise for our call to worship the Baruch Hu.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Leolam Va'ed.
We join together in our prayer, blessing God's creation, on page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, ruling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim.
בנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
You may be seated as we join together in the chanting of Ve'ahavta, page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And together in the English on the facing page, love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. And at the top of 157, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that the way to get there from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. לא ראיתי לוט עושה פלא, לא ראיתי לוט עושה פלא, אדוני בית יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We turn one page for Hashkivenu, our prayer asking God to protect us in the evening and to shelter us with goodness and with peace.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmor tzedkenu uvoenu lechaim ushalom ve'ata ve'odolam.
Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, O guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Amen.
And as we pray for God's protection from war and famine and illness, we take a moment in our service to offer up a prayer for healing. Prayer has the power to transform our fear into faith. It reminds us that we are never alone. No matter what this unpredictable world sends our way, with God by our side, we can find the strength to confront our fears. So we pray and welcome God's healing power. As we pray, may the Holy Blessed One take all those who are in need of healing of body, mind, or spirit, and help their pain cease, strength increase, and fears be released. May blessings, love, and joy surround all those who are hurting and all those who are caring for those who are hurt. On this particular Shabbat, we pray for Refuah Shlema, complete healing for Eliyahu ben Moshe, Mel Claver, Stephen Cohen, Lou Coppola, Pearl Corson, Dylan Elliott, Gordon Fink, Sylvia Goldberg, Victoria Sedman Hales, Sarah Hetznecker Sheehan, Hannah Leese, William H. Simon, MD, Cindy Spector, and Edith Witt, along with all those we hold in our hearts as we join together singing Misha Berach on page 371.
Find the courage to make our lives
turn back in our prayer books to pages 164 and following as we rise for the tefillah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב והושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים לרופא חולים, ומותיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, למען אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated as we continue together at the top of 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. And at the top of 175, Ever-present One, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are a God whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. And our prayer of gratitude on 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. And before we transition to our prayer for peace, a prayer for Ukraine as we still struggle with that horror that is happening around the other part of the world. Loving God, we pray for the people of Ukraine, for all those suffering or afraid, that you will be close to them and protect them. We pray for world leaders for compassion, strength, and wisdom to guide their choices. We pray for the world that struggles with this crisis. May we reach out in solidarity to our brothers and sisters in need. May we walk in your ways so that peace and justice become a reality for the people of Ukraine and for the whole world. And together we say, Amen.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We take a moment now for private prayers and meditations.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, ויהיו ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you. Oh God, my rock and my redeemer. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו ואמרו
Shabbat Shalom. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was a family who lived happily in a small, quiet house in Poland. One day they learned that the grandparents were coming to live with them. The parents and their child were very excited about this, but the parents were worried because their house was very small. They knew when the grandparents arrived, the house would become more crowded and much noisier. The father, who was a farmer, was sufficiently worried and went to ask the rabbi what to do. The rabbi naturally said, "Let them come." So the grandparents moved in. They had a lot of furniture which went in the living room where they slept and in some other rooms too. It became crowded and noisy in the house. So the farmer returned to the rabbi and shared, "I did what you said, Rabbi. Now my in-laws are here, and it is a really crowded house." The rabbi thinks for a moment, then he asks, "Do you have chickens?" "Of course I have chickens," replies the farmer. "Bring them into the house," proclaims the rabbi. The farmer is confused, but he knows the rabbi is very wise. So he went home and brought all the chickens to live inside the house with the family. But it is no less crowded and noisy and messy. In fact, it was worse, with the clucking and the pecking and the flapping of the wings. After living this way for a while, the farmer grows more and more frustrated and then marches back over to see the rabbi. "I did what you said, Rabbi. Now with my in-laws and the chickens, it is a really cramped house." Again, the rabbi thinks for a moment and then asks, "Do you have any goats?" "Of course I have goats," says the farmer. "Wonderful. Bring them into the house as well," advises the rabbi. Now the farmer is confused, but he knows the rabbi is very wise. He brings all the goats from the barn to live inside the house. You can imagine, it was definitely not less crowded or less noisy. In fact, it was much worse, with the chickens clucking and flapping their wings, and the goats baaing and butting their heads against the walls and one another, not to mention all the people trying to live under the same roof. The next day, the farmer can't take it anymore and goes to consult the rabbi about his most recent advice. "I did what you said, Rabbi. Now my in-laws have no place to sleep because the chickens have taken their bed. The goats are sticking their heads into everything and making lots of noise. We really can't live like this. Everyone is very frustrated. Don't you have any other suggestions?" The rabbi thinks. He looks very puzzled. Then he says, "Aha! You must have some sheep." "Of course I have sheep," the farmer answers slowly. "Bring them into the house," declares the rabbi. The farmer knows the rabbi is very wise, so he brings the sheep inside. It is no less crowded, noisy, or messy. In fact, it is much, much worse. The chickens are clucking and flapping their wings. The goats are baaing and butting their heads. The sheep are baaing too, and one sat on the farmer's eyeglasses and broke them. The house is loud and crazy, and it is starting to smell like a barn. Completely exasperated, the farmer returns to the rabbi. "Rabbi," he says, "I have followed your advice. I have done everything you said. Now my in-laws have no place to sleep because the chickens are laying eggs in their bed, the goats are baaing and butting heads, and the sheep are breaking things. Plus, the house smells like a barn." The rabbi frowned. He closed his eyes and thought for a long time. Finally, he opens his eyes and says, "This is what you do. Take the sheep back to the barn, take the goats back to the barn, take the chickens back to their coop, leave everything else exactly the same." The farmer ran home and did just as the rabbi instructed him. As he took the animals out of the house, his child and wife and in-laws began to tidy up the rooms. By the time the last chicken was settled in her coop, the house looked quite nice. And it was quiet. All the family agreed their home was the most spacious, peaceful, and comfortable home anywhere. You may have heard this Jewish folk tale before, but it is always good to share again. What started out as a seemingly terrible idea was in fact thoughtful advice, although this is a rather extraordinary example of someone dispensing wisdom. Fortunately, it has a happy ending, something to which we all aspire. But a question for all of us. How do we decide what advice to heed and what advice to discard? How do we ascertain when we are receiving words of wisdom or when we are falling victim to someone with a less than honest agenda? We all know we live in a world that has become increasingly polarized, with news and social media strategically targeting each of us. As a result, it is more challenging than ever to cut through the noise and see what is real, and to try to understand why others see a different perspective as real. As you may suspect, I stayed up too late watching the proceedings from the January 6th Commission, but making decisions on advice and perspective is equally applicable to how we live our own lives and how we respond to the news, our friends and families, and ultimately how we can best live in harmony together. If we can bring the chickens, the goats, and the sheep into our hearts and homes and learn to live with them for a bit, perhaps we too can find some peace of mind. May the coming days bring peace to the world and to each of us. Shabbat Shalom. Our service continues now on page 586 as we rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
You may be seated. At the top of 595. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. In each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life now ended, brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. We think of loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, as we remember with love and affection Bobby Bergelson, David Michael Ginsburg, Henry Levin, Stephanie Shockley, Dorothy Wasserman. And we remember those we loved and lost at this season in years past, as we honor Robert M. Beckman, Jonathan Taxon Beifeld, Sarah Benoff, Victor Bergelson, Ida Berkowitz, William Bildersee, Beverly Brooks, Harry Constan, Ernest Delheim, Louis DeVoe, Kenneth L. Farber, Hannah Offshauer Philippi, Daniel Ginsburg, Morris Goldberg, Alice Goldstein, George J. Gordon, Joel Greenspan, Faye Henkin, Stella Heron. We remember Harry Hyde Jr., Maurice Caniff, Sylvia Lample, Joseph C. Lerner, Joseph Lesson, Leonard Allen Levine, Sr., Diane Lynn, Samuel Lundy, Maisie McGill, Miriam Marjolies, Clarence Messerov, Goldie Schmulin Miller, Sadie Miller, Christine Murphy, Harris Passline, Harry Pachevsky, Louis Randino. We remember Erwin I. Rosenbaum, Ida Rossner, Evelyn Ruttman, Michael Saperstein, Elias Schwartz, Bernice Slaw, Toby L. Sofian, Leona Solomon, Elaine S. Stam, Muriel Thickman, Rosa Unger, William Uris, Dorothy C. Weinberg, Alvin M. Weiner, David N. Weiner, Irene M. Weiner, Louis Z. Weiner, Bernice Weiss, Charles Zola, David Zorwell. Zichronam Livracha, may each of their memories be a benediction as we rise together to praise God's name for the Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, b'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yamechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, v'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei d'kudsha, b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran v'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'asei shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the Holy Blessed One who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. And together we say, amen. You may be seated, except for the lovely Helene Erla Cohen, who will share with us this week's announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hi at home. A special thank you to Rabbi Newberg, Cantor Rudnick, and Andy Heller for leading us in this wonderful service tonight. Just want to call your attention to some very exciting upcoming programs and special events. Join Cantor Rudnick tomorrow at 9 a.m. for Torah study, followed by our Shabbat morning service. Both Torah study and services will be available in person and on Zoom. And then tomorrow evening at 6:30, please join Cantor Rudnick and her family for Havdalah with the Rudnicks. And that is on Zoom only. Did you know that almost 2.9 million eligible voters in Pennsylvania did not vote in 2020? That's why MLRT is joining RAC PA and their Every Voice, Every Vote campaign. Details are coming soon for how you can participate in this critically important project. And looking a little ahead, please mark your calendars for our Tisha B'Av service on Saturday, August the 6th at 7:30 p.m. Tisha B'Av is a day of mourning over the destruction of both ancient temples in Jerusalem. Please join us as we mark this sacred day in the Jewish calendar with traditional liturgy and study alongside Beth David Reform Congregation. The guest speaker will be Adam Garber, Executive Director of Ceasefire PA. You won't want to miss MLRT Shabbat at the Shore on August the 19th at 6:30, and a service and dinner are going to be held at the home of Amy and Terry Buckman in Ventnor. So please call the temple office to RSVP for additional details. And finally, save September 9th to the 11th for our Welcome Back weekend with artist-in-residence Dan Nichols. Tickets are on sale for the special night out with Nichols on September the 10th, when MLRT will be transformed into an adults-only beer garden and concert venue. Details and registration information is on the MLRT website. And next Friday night, Shabbat services begin at 6:30. We look forward to seeing you. You will find complete information about all of our programs in the MLRT e-news and on our website, www.mlrt.org. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And so we turn to, well, you can stay on 598 if you want, but you know the words to this one. We are singing O Say Shalom. It's the very bottom of 598, or from your memory.
O say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, le'ako Yisrael, le'ako yoshvei tevel, ve'imru,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We hope everybody has a peaceful Shabbat and that everybody stays cool and safe and have a wonderful and joyous week to come. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom at home.